We begin in the US, where Donald Trump is set to make history once again as the only former president to be charged with a federal crime. He arrived in Florida on Monday night as he prepares for his court appearance later there today, where he is expected to plead not guilty to dozens of charges relating to the mishandling of classified information. On Monday evening, he was seen at a steakhouse in his hotel and resort in the Miami area, where he'll be staying overnight ahead of his court appearance. Our North America correspondent Nomia Iqbal reports from Miami.
This is MAGA territory.
Donald Trump's die-hard supporters are always ready for him.
USA! USA!
They cheered as he arrived at his resort, where he's staying before his court appearance.
We love Trump!
Once inside, he was greeted by surprised guests.
Yep, I see him. I got him in the frame. He just waved.
This is different to his indictment in New York 2 months ago, where he was charged with breaking state laws.
President Trump!
This is a federal case. The United States of America wants its former commander-in-chief on trial for allegedly jeopardizing national security.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
The Department of Justice says Trump held on to hundreds of classified documents, including ones about America's nuclear weapons and plans on how to retaliate against a foreign attack, and then refused to hand them back when asked. He denies it.
The ridiculous and baseless indictment of me by the Biden administration's weaponized Department of Injustice will go down as among the most horrific abuses of power in the history of our country.
Florida has become a Republican stronghold in recent years. But do these piling lawsuits trouble voters?
I love him and then I hate him. But then it's like he's also a realist, and I'm a realist. If he did something wrong, he will be locked up.
Prosecutors have brought the case to Florida because they want it to be heard in the place where the alleged crimes happened. It means that Donald Trump's fate could ultimately be decided by 12 citizens in a state he won twice in the last presidential elections. So how easy will it be to find an impartial jury?
You have to find people who may have an opinion, but can set aside their opinion and focus solely on the evidence that's been submitted in the courtroom.
Could he go to jail?
He could. I mean, look, some of these charges carry a statutory maximum of 20 years.
The trial of a man running to be president again could extend into the 2024 campaign season and beyond the election. To steal one of Trump's lines, America will have never seen anything like it. Nomia Iqbal, BBC News, Miami.
Well, let's go live there now and speak to Nomia. Nomia, Miami is preparing for quite a day ahead, I am sure. I'm sure security is high, as there is always a media circus surrounding these events.
There always is. We saw that in New York and outside the courthouse. As you can imagine, the world's media is prepared. Everyone is sort of marked off their territory, including the BBC, ready to broadcast tomorrow when he makes that historic visit. Look, Florida is used to prosecuting high-profile figures. Their courts have prosecuted elected officials, former elected officials, foreign dignitaries, drug dealers, and so forth. So it's prepared for this sort of thing. It's also prepared for Donald Trump. Remember, he does live in Florida. But of course, the nature of this is so much more different than what we saw in New York. As I mentioned there in this report, this isn't about him breaking a few state laws relating to campaign financing, in which he's accused of, paying hush money to women he was accused of having an affair with. This is the United States of America versus Donald J. Trump. The United States of America versus a man who used to run this country, who wants to run the country again. So it is a pretty extraordinary moment that we're going to see tomorrow, later today, I should say, in Miami.
Yeah, don't worry about the time zones. We're aware of where they're at this time of day for many American viewers watching us now. And in terms of concern about any protests or unrest, I mean, his supporters are saying they're going to make their presence felt, that is for sure. But once he's appeared in court, he's due to head back to New Jersey fairly quickly, isn't he? So it may not be such an issue.
Yes, his supporters have been outside the resort. There are about 24 of them. As always, there's more media, to be honest with you, than supporters. They're very vocal, they're very loud. They did soon leave once Donald Trump had arrived. Had gone inside the resort. The police have said, look, we're ready for this, we're prepared for this, but they also said that we're looking forward to getting this over and done with. But yes, after he has entered his plea, which we expect, of course, to be not guilty, he will then fly to New Jersey, where he will immediately get back into fundraising for his campaign. This boosts him. If we look at the last indictment in New York, his polling went up, he raised more money with Republican voters. And remember, that's the key for him at the moment, because he wants to secure the nomination for the party's leadership in order to run for the president. Those supporters are still very loyal to him, and this just boosts them. They believe in his narrative that this is a political witch hunt. Whether or not he has the American public generally behind him, whether or not he has enough votes to win an election to get back into the White House, that's a whole other thing.